Hello and welcome to the weekly moon update. In these videos, we talk about the moon energy for the current week, as well as a little bit of astrology. However, in this video, we're talking about May 19th through the 25th, where this is one of the videos that we're not much is really going on with the moon this week, but we do have a lot of astrological shifts. There are 3 astrological shifts that are happening this week. The sun is changing signs, Saturn is changing signs, and Mercury is changing signs. So we have a lot to talk about in this video. Let's jump into it. All right, so first and foremost, we have a last quarter moon because we had our full moon in Scorpio last week, and we will have our new moon in Gemini next week. Like the full moon and the new moon weeks are kind of interesting because we had the full moon on a Monday, and now we're going to have a new moon on a Monday, which is, I don't know, kind of not my favorite thing to do, because especially on a new moon, I like to, you know, rest and be quiet and go within. And with a full moon, there's so much energy going on, it's kind of hard to focus on the day or the work week. So kind of interesting energy there to have our big moon phases happening on a Monday. However, this week we have our last quarter moon started on Tuesday. So that means Monday we have a waning gibbous moon, and then after Tuesday, throughout the rest of the week, we have our waning crescent moon, which will slowly get darker and darker until we have our new moon or totally dark moon on Monday. So like I said, the big things that are happening this week, we've got the sun moving into Gemini on Tuesday, and we have Saturn moving into Aries on Saturday, which I thought was kind of interesting that on Saturn day, the planet Saturn is moving or changing signs. And then on Sunday, Mercury is moving into Gemini. We're starting off with Aquarius energy, which, like I was saying before about how like the Scorpio full moon Monday was very volatile and a lot of energy, and then next week the new moon in Gemini is going to be, very low energy, and this is not really a good way to start off the week. I do like starting off the week with Aquarius energy. So the moon is in Aquarius all day Monday, and we'll move into Pisces very early in the morning around 8:29 a.m. Another interesting thing about this week, because I'm like so infatuated with the void of course times. I'm like, what makes it take, I don't understand how long it takes the moon to transition, like why it's different every time, for every sign. I don't understand how or why how this happens. But the transitions this week are very short. This is only from 8 o'clock to 8:30, so only a 30-minute transition. Thursday is also a 30-minute transition, and then we have kind of a longer one on Saturday, but I'm just so fascinated by the void of course times for some reason. So we'll be in Aquarius energy until Tuesday morning. So we're starting off our week with Aries or Aquarius energy, which is, mental clarity, which our card for this week talks about clarity as well. So it has this nice fresh start to the week kind of energy to it. And remember, Aquarius season is from the end of January to the beginning of February. So it's after we've started the new year, and you're kind of just changing things a bit. You're doing things differently than you did last year. And so Aquarius energy is all about doing new and different things. So it's just a nice way to start off the week. And it's nice to have that mental clarity as we go into kind of dreamy, watery Pisces the next day. So Aquarius is an air sign, and this is the last of Taurus sun season, because we are moving into the sun in Gemini, which is also an air sign. And so we feel that shift from earth to air. I think it's like Taurus helped us get rooted and stable and grounded. And now air energy helps us find that clarity and wisdom that we need to continue with those slow and steady steps that we learned in Taurus season and moving into Gemini season, which is a little bit more like Taurus is very heavy and grounded and rooted, and Gemini is a little bit more like, I just got the image of like those things that they have floating outside of car dealerships. The like, I don't know what those things are. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about. Those like wiggly guys. That that's that's Sun and Gemini energy, I guess, is the image that I was getting there. So I think we're gonna feel that shift into Gemini. We're gonna start to see like more rapid movement, but also more just like relaxed. And we're heading into the summer seasons when we're in the brightest time of the year. We have more energy, but we also like have more time to play. We have more time to take a vacation, have an extra long weekend, take a nap in the sun, do things outside. This is like total opposite energy of winter, and summer solstice will be next month. So we're just like getting into that playful time of year. So our last quarter moon in Pisces is happening on Tuesday. We'll be in Pisces energy all day Tuesday and all day Wednesday, and then moving into Aries Thursday afternoon. So I find that I'm not very productive on Pisces days. However, Pisces is so dreamy, and you can find motivation with Pisces energy because you feel inspired and you feel like anything is possible. It's kind of naive, but like sometimes you need a little naivety to like, do this, try something new. And especially with a Pisces moon and Gemini sun, it's, like try the thing, like try the new thing, do something different, do something fun and different. So I was kind of having trouble tapping into the energy of this week, or not really trouble tapping into it, but like there's just so much still lingering from the Scorpio full moon. It feels like this week is bringing more lighter energy. And I don't mean in the sense of like light versus dark. I mean like physically lighter, like not as heavy, like weight wise. Maybe it's the shift from Sun into Gemini. But now that I'm like thinking about this last quarter Pisces moon, it does have this more cleansing energy to it, releasing. Like this Scorpio full moon was so intense, and it just brought all of this energy up to the surface. And I don't know, personally for me, it felt like it cleared a lot of things out, like very, very, I don't know, dramatically. Like I felt like there was this big gaping hole like left inside of me. Like I physically felt it. Like, I don't know if any of you have seen that movie, Death Becomes Her. The plot of the movie is that these two women, like they take this like elixir of life so that they can look beautiful and young forever. But they also learn that like it prevents them from dying. So anything that happens to them kind of, it doesn't kill them, but it like permanently damages them. So one of them ends up getting shot through the stomach, and she has this big hole, like giant hole that you can like see through. That's kind of how the Scorpio full moon like left me feeling, like very open and vulnerable and raw, and like there was a literal hole like in my stomach or in my solar plexus. And I think that like I've had to like sit with that emptiness and sit with that rawness for whatever freaking reason and process things. But with this Pisces last quarter moon coming in, it feels more like this gentle cleansing than this like giant release. It feels like a gentle cleansing, almost like a soothing, like so if you did have a gaping hole in your abdomen, the Pisces energy feels like putting a balm on it. And I'm really looking forward to this Pisces energy. I'm Pisces rising, so I love Pisces days anyways. But it feels like putting a balm or a salve onto a wound that's like soothing, or like putting aloe on a sunburn, like putting something cooling on something hot, like it just has this kind of soothing energy to it. And then of course, the sun in Gemini makes things feel like more light and playful and fun. Sometimes sun in Gemini, especially after this Scorpio full moon, it has that kind of dark humor, comedy kind of energy to it, of like just having to laugh in the face of your flaws and laughing in the face of whatever it is that you're going through. And it helps shift that energy. It helps lighten the mood, like literally, but it helps you move energy and move things through, which is another thing I want to talk about with the Saturn and Aries that is coming up on Saturday too. So we'll be in this Pisces energy, which does have this very soothing kind of first aid calming energy to it. And then we're moving into Aries on Thursday around 12:26 p.m. Okay, so a waning crescent moon in Aries, usually when we talk about Aries, we talk about action and starting things and going and go, go, go. But a waning crescent moon, and especially this close to the new moon, is really kind of figuring out how do you keep your fire going? What's the kindling that you need to sustain your fire? Because remember, Aries is so fast moving and quick, and you tend to burn out a lot with Aries energy. So we need to find those things that like that Pisces bomb. What is it that you can put onto that burn that is soothing, or what is it that you can add to your fire to make it burn longer, or make it burn continuously without burning out, without being this big burst of a brilliant fire and then it like fizzles out. So what are the things that you need to do to nurture and take care of yourself in order to sustain your fire? So it's possible that at the end of the week you'll feel this little burst of fire energy and wrap up any things that you need to wrap up before the new moon. But I don't know if it I think that like the Scorpio full moon was so intense. I think we're really just needing to slow down for this new moon and figure out how to sustain our energy. And then on Saturday, the moon will move into, or start to move into Taurus. It's about a 5-hour transition, void of course time. So the beginning of Saturday is not going to really feel like much of anything, and then we'll move into Taurus energy at 1:38 p.m. Saturday afternoon, and this is closing out the Taurus moon cycle. And I mean, the sun has already moved out of Taurus, so this is like saying goodbye to the Taurus season and the Taurus moon cycle. And haven't you really enjoyed Taurus season? I always feel this like urgency and this push. And I mean, society is always about like, go, go, go. It's anxiety provoking. It's like we're always supposed to be on all the time. And Taurus teaches us how to slow down and take it a little bit easier, take it a little bit slower, maybe a little bit quieter. And now we have to say goodbye to that energy. But hopefully the movement moving into the summer is going to be a little bit more playful and fun movement, not like work all the time. Because, traditionally this time of year, you've worked hard planting the crops and tilling the soil and getting everything ready. And when the plants are so young, you have to take care of them and watch them because they're so delicate. But now through after Taurus season, the roots are more established. The plants are are hardier and they're starting to flower and produce fruit. So there isn't really much that you have to do anymore because all your hard work has been done. So now moving into Gemini season, you can relax a little bit. Yes, you still have to work on things, you still have to work, period, but you're like allowed to like take an extra long lunch break and take a nap in the sun or something, and you're allowed to take a vacation and go to the beach and play. You're allowed to go outside, not just to work on your garden, but go outside to just simply enjoy the weather, enjoy the beauty that you see around you. Taurus also teaches us about the beautiful things in life. We've learned to slow down, and now we're learning how to use our time to have more fun, create more fun in our life. So we're saying goodbye to Taurus season, but we're moving into like more lighter and playful energy. And I mean, I really love Taurus energy, but I do feel stuck sometimes with it. So moving from that earth to air makes things feel lighter. So let's talk about Saturn and Aries though. Okay, so Saturn has been in Pisces since 2023. Since then, and I feel like a broken record. I know I have said this a lot, but I've really noticed the shift but before that, Saturn was in Aquarius, which is an air sign. Really noticed that shift from Saturn in a air sign to a water sign, and how like smoke cleansing was like my number one go-to thing for clearing a space, for clearing my energetic field. And after Saturn moved into Pisces, a water sign, I was really noticing like, why does it like smoke cleansing just did not feel as effective as it did in the past. And then I switched to water cleansing with spray, or, actually drinking water, infusing your water with your thoughts, intentions, and drinking it, or actually like, bathing in water, taking a shower, using water to cleanse and clear energy. And having the Saturn move from a water to a fire sign, I'm really not sure how that, I've been trying to like wrap my head around it for months, like knowing that Saturn is shifting. I'm like, how do we use fire as cleansing? Like, are we going to light a candle and wave that through your energetic field? I was just like, how does that work? That doesn't sound very safe, especially with long hair. It sounds like trying to cleanse with fire is going to like catch my hair on fire. But now that I've been talking about it, and I think it was medium Jenny Lee that like brought up this point of like, that can be physical movement. Like I don't know why I was only thinking of fire being like a literal flame, but fire is creativity. Fire is taking action on something. Fire is physical movement. And also there's also the violet flame, which you can use to clear your energetic field as well. So I think that we're going to be noticing those shifts, and that water, especially like, I mean, with Neptune moving out of Pisces also, and moving into Aries, I think like fire and action and movement is going to be like the thing that's moving us forward right now. And we should really start kind of changing our daily energetic practices to include taking action on things. We have gone through such a huge transformation the last 4 years, and now it's time to like start living your life as a result of whatever those transformations were. I mean, collectively as a society, I mean, we saw so many changes to home and work life, and recognizing that need more balance with our work and home life. And now we need to start making those changes. We need to start making being at home with your family and being with your loved ones and having more time outside of work as a priority. Saturn is boundaries and restrictions, but it's not just like your energetic shield. It's not just the walls that you build or the shields that you put up. It's also the like, where do you draw that metaphorical line of like, I'm not going to work 60 hours a week anymore. Where can you pull that line back to where you feel more comfortable and where you feel more whole and sustained and nurtured as a person? And that's with like relationship boundaries, it's with work boundaries. I mean, it's every type of boundary that that is in existence. So we're going to see this shift and change with Saturn moving into Aries. We had our time with water, and now we're going to have our time with fire. So last but not least, we've got our Mercury moving into Gemini. So Mercury usually follows pretty closely with the sun. So with the sun moving into Gemini on Tuesday, and Mercury is right behind it on Sunday. So Mercury is at home in Gemini. Gemini is ruled by Mercury. Virgo and Gemini are both ruled by Mercury. So Virgo is the earth element of communication, and Gemini is the air element of communication. So this is our thoughts and ideas, and needing to talk things out, needing to say it out loud, needing to like confirm it, whether that's verbally or written, or acting it out. Now that we're talking about taking action, I mean, Gemini is very playful, and if sometimes when you're working on a project for so long, or you're focusing on a problem in your life, or you're just like really just kind of in the zone and only focusing on one thing, and you like feel like you can't move forward with something, you can't overcome this obstacle, you can't learn this lesson. If you take some time off to play and just like take your mind off of it, when you come back to it, you can look at it with like fresh eyes. So Gemini kind of teaches us to like putting something down for a moment isn't letting go, isn't giving up. It's just, let's take a break, let's play, let's read, let's go outside, let's take a walk. Then we can come back to this thing. Mercury in Gemini also has this feeling of like when something's going on in your life and it just feels so big and so overwhelming, and you're constantly thinking about it all the time, and you're constantly like feeling all these feelings and trying to process them, and like you kind of hold it all to yourself. You don't want to bother or burden anybody with this thing because it just feels too big and too overwhelming. But then you find like you finally talk to a friend about it, or you talk to a therapist about it, or you journal about it in your journal, and you just gain this whole different perspective. Like it doesn't seem so big and overwhelming. It doesn't feel like this ginormous thing that is just all encompassing. Like, have you ever like just talked with a friend, like talked about a problem with a friend that has just been driving you crazy up the wall, and you're able to just like sit and joke and laugh about it, and it just takes the pressure off, and it just lightens everything up, and you're just like, oh, it's not really that bad. It's not really as bad as I thought it was. Because like within our minds, we can just create this whole alternate reality of what's actually happening. We tend to like catastrophize things, like make them seem bigger than what they are. But then when you talk about it with a friend, like over a drink or coffee or something, you're just like, why was I so stressed out about that? Like, why was I so worried about it? But it's because you were like so focused on it, and it's grabbing all your attention and all of your energy and all of your emotions. And you needed to just like let it out, to just talk about it, write it down, let it go, get it out there. And I really love that Mercury's moving into Gemini after that big Scorpio full moon, because it did feel big and it did feel overwhelming and it did feel like a lot. But once you kind of get outside of your own head about things and try to gain that different perspective, it makes things feel lighter. And really just, that's what I'm saying about the energy of this week. It feels lighter. It's not that heavy, Taurus, dense energy anymore. It's not that dark and spooky Scorpio energy anymore. We're moving into the Gemini moon cycle it's going to be Gemini, playful, fun, active, the jokester, and Sagittarius, who's all about adventure and finding that new spark and finding that new light. So it's really shifting the energy from dense, heavy, dark, spooky to light, playful, fun, and active, and adventure. All right, so the 22 Archangels Oracle by Kyle Gray is the oracle deck that we're using today, and we've got Raphael. The message on this card is clarity of vision, be willing to see things differently to initiate healing and experience wholeness. I was just saying, change your perspective and look at the big picture and see things differently. Okay. So Raphael's name means God heals, and he is the archangel who is associated with health and healing. The book of Tobit relates that he once disguised himself as a human in a congregation and was able to heal a man on the side of the road from sickness and blindness. The sickness and blindness are considered to be metaphorical, referring to the idea that Raphael healed how the man felt about a particular situation and shifted his perspective. It's for this reason that he is looked upon as a guide to help us heal on all levels: physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. Spiritual vision isn't only about developing the ability to see spiritual beings or energies, it's also about developing the openness to see things from a higher perspective. With this card, you are being encouraged to see your current situation differently. This isn't about right or wrong. It's about developing the compassion and composure to pay attention to the experiences and input of those around you and see things from a different point of view. Holy moly, that is like exactly what I was just saying. Right now, angels of light are flying above you, inviting you to look at your world through their eyes. Be open to the idea that even if there's a part of your life that doesn't make sense currently, there are greater workings in place that will lead to understanding and contentment. If you're feeling unsettled about a situation you care deeply about, realize that the real work begins when you move beyond the limitations of your instincts and trust in the divine plan that is unfolding before you. If you have health concerns at this time, the angels are guiding you to be more open to information, feedback, and support. Wow. I was just saying, like, gaining that bigger perspective, talking it out with a friend, talking it out with a therapist, talk it out with your angels. Wow. I'm all for finding clarity too, man. Thank you, Raphael. It's interesting. It's a nice reminder too. Like, I always call on Raphael for health reasons and for like physical health reasons and for animal healing. And it's so silly. I never think to call on him for like mental healing, mental health, that's so silly. That's the silliest thing. Like, why not? So our chakra card for this week is solar power. Look to the sun, allow its glorious light to radiate from your entire body. Let this warmth rise from the core of you, propelling and empowering you with every step you take. When you attune to the wisdom of the sun, you will understand that whatever you seek and long for can be yours. All that you seek awaits you, says the sun. This is a solar plexus chakra card. The crystal is pyrite, and anise is the herb they recommend. And anise, if any of you have seen it, is star shaped. So that's interesting that it's a solar plexus sun related herb. So I like having this solar plexus chakra card in a week where the sun is changing signs. And as we're moving closer and closer to the summer solstice. We've got a gemstone that we don't get to often. Libyan Tektite is an otherworldly gem of ascension. It corresponds to the soul star chakra and the solar plexus chakra. That's interesting. We got a solar plexus chakra card too. So helping you activate interdimensional and cosmic awareness. Even King Tut believed that this crystal was so powerful that he had a scarab carved from it for his burial adornment. So the affirmation for this card is I activate interdimensional and cosmic awareness. So it sounds like not only is this week helping us to feel lighter energetically and physically, but also, airy and wise, downloading information, receiving information. All right, and look, these cards are matching as well. So I hope that you are feeling lighter and a little bit more easygoing. I hope that you're ready to move into this moon cycle and this sun cycle with a little more like lightheartedness. And remember, because this is a waning week, we still have a lot of energy around that last quarter, but as we're getting closer and closer to the new moon and starting off our next week with the new moon, we might want to kind of take it easy over the weekend in case you have to like start new things on Monday. So thank you so much for being here. I can't wait to see you on the other side of the looking glass again sometime soon. very early Tuesday morning, around 8:30. Whoops, that wasn't my laser. That was the eraser. Okay.